think about um, opening the picture to look at it in a bigger version before I'm like almost done.
Well, if you keep it in a small resolution, you get more of the overall picture rather than tiny details.
Yeah,
which can be
that's
handy.
what I was about to say. That's sort of the point of like storyboarding, getting the overall thing, and then doing details later.
It's funny because I do actually work. Like my work is a lot better when I've looked at a picture on my phone instead of my iPad.
So it's always good to, because I always get too bogged down in details straight away, and then you zoom out and you go, "Oh God, what is this?" So it is usually good to get the whole sort of general gist of the image before you get cracking in with details. Anyway, welcome to the stream. That was the longest pause. We've been talking for a minute.
Is this the first time you started the stream with talking?
No, we always do it. No, I think the first thing that was said was you talking about how you're using the smallest picture.
Oh shit.
This was a long conversation that we've had since we've been streaming. But it's informative. It's a good thing to have as an opening thing. We learned something together. Anyway, it's a stream. Hi.
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 How you doing?
Forgot to do that last time. Oh, I also forgot to make this full screen, so everything's weird. Ah, that's not the full screen button. There it is. Welcome to VIA, the meticulously planned, well-organised stream. As always. With music by Adrian von Ziegler. The only truly competent participant in this whole exercise.
I mean,
Hi,
I'd argue everyone here is competent. I just don't know if we're competent at doing this.
True.
It's kind of like saying, yes, I'm a competent individual. I'm now going to use that competency to parachute out of a plane. I have no idea how any of that works.
Yes.
Don't trust me to parachute out of a plane.
I'm extremely competent on the trombone. Now I'm going to try surgery. You know, it's like different competencies, you know. Competent requires context. Anyway, welcome to the...
Welcome to the...
Welcome to the... I did try to spell VIA in the Discord without using the letters VI or A, and it didn't quite work.
What?
It's just this
fire. You tried to do something you couldn't. That was impossible.
Well, you know, it's fun. The English language is weird. You can usually get around things like this. I ended up with fire, which is kind of close.
Isn't there like a thing where it's like, here's how you spell fish, and it's spelled with, it's not the right letters, but it's all letter combinations that would phonetically make noises in different contexts.
PHYTCZ? I don't know.
So it's making the English alphabet Japanese.
Japanese is the opposite. Japanese is very strict with, like, here are the syllables. These are the only syllables.
Yeah, except you've got some symbols that can be pronounced with different syllables depending.
Oh yeah, there is that
context.
But once you have the set of syllables, you know, the actual written kanji it's just an absolute nightmare to learn. But in terms of just pronunciation, there are just a finite number of syllables, whereas English is just wibbly wobbly nonsense. Cool, we got a quick tangent today. Right.
Just immediately.
Immediately. Start talking about the phonetics of Japanese, something of which I'm intimately familiar, having never been to Japan nor spoken to a Japanese person. So of course I'm an authority on this.
You're a very competent individual.
Yes, so we're here. We already have Cute Bat Friend. Being...
It's that weird. Is it mine you're talking about?
No, both are good. There's Chibi's doing Bat Friend and you're doing Bat Cat.
I just thought it was funny. Oh, yep. The return of the bat.
The return of the bat.
I love your style of bat.
The bats are
Because
cute.
when I say it was funny, I assumed it was my cat because it looks like a bat, but it is a cat.
It's a cat bat.
Cat
You
bat.
can just flap its ears and stuff flying around.
It's that weird breed of cat that honks.
I always remember me of Nosferatu for some reason.
Yeah.
To sort of flap around like a bat around Nosferatu. Anyway, somebody animate that. But until then, we have cute bat. So last time, we actually started working out what the story was. I drew some storyboards, which I have not exported in a sense that I can just show them on stream. There are VODs.
What the VODs are for?
It's what VODs are for. I have a VOD channel. Hey, miss! Personally jive with Wizard Cat. Wizard Cat is having a think. They are deep in ponderousness.
Just staring into the
have more
void,
think.
as cats do.
They are in Ponderland.
Aww.
But again, I invite you to question, is that a nose or a triangular happy mouth? It's up to you.
It's up
That
to
truly
all
is the
different
nature of
cats, eh?
art.
Is it a mustache? Is it a mouth?
Oh, hang on.
Or
Actually, yeah, and in the same sense as, is that a little mouth or is it a mustache? Who knows? Nobody does, apart from the fact that Chibi made it and says that it's a mouth. So that's probably what it is. But you know, I can open up the canvas from last week so we can have a look at what we did. Where is it? That's from Trapdoor. XCOM stuff. Chatting about things. Here we are. Yeah, here we go. Oh, Ragdoll's here as well.
Yeah, I just had it open so I could look at it. Or have it
Fair
open
enough.
so I can look at it.
So last time we came up with actual story. I forgot about the buddy cat. Where we're plotting out how the beginning of the game goes, and the general idea is we have the first opening scene is the sort of half-heard wibbly-wobbly conversation between life and death, that we don't know that it's life and death, they're just talking about the fact that we're not supposed to be dead. And then we wake up in a cave and we get our tutorial from Buff Wizard, who tells us how to punch. We immediately punch, which ends up us punching Buff Wizard. Buff Wizard promptly beats us up. And then the Plastic Surgery Wizard comes along, and we do the character creator. Because we
Wizard beat us up so bad.
Exactly.
We went
Literally
to the
unrecognizable.
character
Having gotten out of the tutorial cave and the hazards that lay therein, mainly Buff Wizard, we meet Postal Lizard, little male lizard friend. Do they have a name?
Male lizard.
Male lizard. And they give us a lift into the city, where we are promptly, basically kidnapped by Wine Aunt, to be given a tutorial of the town and basically her relatives, and all the gossip thereon. Several hours later, she invites you to fight the rat in her house. And gives you a sword.
Point, want to do literally anything else.
Yes, at that point you just want to get out. So you get out, and Mel's is like, "Hey, do you want to do something else? We've got some jobs to do. Got some parcels to deliver." At which point you can travel around the starting points of the world. Can't go too deep. You're just here for deliveries. And you can go to various places, like the sort of outskirts of the forest, some little wizardy places around the tower, but not in the tower. The sort of entrance part to the Golden City, bits of the cave, bits of the port town, a little bit of the ocean as well. And then, after you've done all that, you admit that you have been drinking the floor soup, for which Male Lizard responds like this, with his face. It was very good. And that is end of Act 1. And so now we're going to be doing something else. Let's tune in to see which one of us blows up this world or attempts to. Chibi, probably. Chibi made Fame and Fortune, so I feel like it's probably
Yeah,
the
it's
path
me.
for this. Are you a male wizard or a male wizard? Yes. Why not both? And it's lizard, not wizard. It could be a wizard as well. They could be a wizard in their spare time. They could have the qualifications, but just really like delivering mail.
They finished their PhD thesis and decided they wanted to do something completely different with their life.
They are the only sensible wizard in deciding to go elsewhere.
Yeah,
They experienced it and went, well, nope. No.
absolutely not. Never again.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. That is the only part of that film I've seen. Is that something that's known elsewhere, or is that just a British thing?
What?
I
You were
don't know what you're talking about.
No.
I think that answers your question.
Yeah, pretty much.
The what is answer? No.
I won't go into it because I've just told you I haven't seen the film. But yeah. So now we're gonna do something else because it'd be weird to do the same thing again. Pretending that we haven't done it before.
Control your creation. They are chaos incarnate. I cannot control them. They're chaos clowns and also Fae. Like, what am I supposed to do about that?
They're fey. They can.
Clackety clackety say via extreme. Oh, scene. Probably both.
Via what? Who?
The what? I don't know what the movie Clickety Clackety is called. In your little cat.
That your cat is holding, Chris.
Oh, I see. There was. Sorry, for some reason I got stuck on the idea of typing as clickety clack.
Oh.
I was like, I didn't type anything, did I? What have I put?
Type E, but other than that.
No, yeah, it's just like there's via, and then there's like scene X.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to make it deliberately not particularly readable, so it doesn't matter. But given
If
that
a
we're
cat
having a
wrote
conversation,
it, I don't imagine it would be very readable at all.
It's just I started saying something and then I realized what it said, but I already opened my mouth. So
that's fair. Oh, wait, hang on, we have a square tool, don't we? Hey, that makes things better.
The way you did it last time.
I'm pretty sure I just did the lines last time, and that's why they're all wonky. So yeah. Part 2/24. So what are we? What's with the what now? There's a couple of things that sort of spring to mind. Either where does the story go from there, or what were we delivering? Because this is our introduction to each of the areas. We can tease things. Maybe we're delivering things that are going to be important later on in the story.
we
Who
were
knows?
like delivering bad stuff for the mafia, right?
No, we were delivering things indifferent. If the mafia want to deliver something via male lizard, that's fine. Male lizard just delivers the mail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I'm just imagining the lizard mafia trio trying to pull something weird with the male lizard, and the male lizard just kind of like, dude, I just work here. If you want something mailed, here's the price of a stamp. Here's the price per pound of packaging. Put your
Yeah.
stuff on the scale or get out.
I do like that you meet that trio like early on, so like as you're doing these deliveries. Saltod and Axel.
Yeah.
Just because I think it'd be very funny for them to like be like in this section like reoccurring, and they're kind of like low threats kind of thugs, and then you beat them up and Male Lizard is just like, I mean, you didn't have to do that, but thanks. I was just, gonna explain the postal system to them, but that's fine, I guess.
It's fine. It's not great for customer retention, but sure.
They do like silly low stakes hijinks like stealing stamps.
Oh. Well, in this world, I mean, stamps could be as good as money.
Because, the big boss in the mafia wanted to send something or was expecting a delivery, so clearly they must rob the mill lizard, I guess. I don't know what their plan is there. I don't think they know.
The head of the mafia said, I want to send him a message.
Yes. Yes, and then they took it as, okay, we need to kidnap the mill person.
Yeah.
That's how we send messages around it. Got it, boss.
Oh, one brain cell between the three of them and they lost it.
Oh. Oh no.
They heard message and they ran with it.
The worst type of highwaymen.
I think that's how you kind of like end up in the
that might be that might be how we figure out what's going on. Well, maybe not figure out what's going on with the mafia, but figure out that there is a mafia.
Yeah.
And they are doing something. Because these three chuckleheads.
Mm-hmm.
Keep interrupting the mail.
I'm so used to the shape tool in Procreate now, where like you do a squiggle and then you hold it and then it straightens out your line.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
It's very hard to not be squiggly all of a sudden.
I'm like that when I have to use something that doesn't have stabilization. I'm like, oh god, why is everything fuzzy?
I'm getting used to it. I've changed a lot of my brushes recently. Because I usually just get mad stabilization because it changes my movements and I don't like that.
That's fair.
Like, do what I tell you to, not what you think I want you to.
Sometimes, like, particularly if you're trying to draw, strangely enough, if you're trying to draw a circle, stabilization is really bad. You would think it'd be great, because it makes things even.
Yeah, it just makes you do this instead.
Unfortunately, it makes you draw a very good egg. Because the way the stabilization works is it averages your stroke, which means that it can't do it at the start. So the beginning of the stroke is less stabilized than the next bit, so you end up with a weird where you start is not as curved or more curved than the rest. Circles are the devil shape. Exactly. What is a pentagram surrounded by?
That's where Procreate is good then.
I mean, it's just sort of funny to me because in a physical sense, circles are really easy to draw.
Yeah.
Like, not freehand, obviously, but as far as, like, making a circle, that's pretty easy.
They are one of the fundamental geometric objects. That lines and circles. That's how you do geometry, right? Classically.
Yeah, but like in terms of like starting from nothing being built, it's a lot easier to make a tool to draw a circle than it is to make a tool from scratch that can help you draw a straight line.
Oh.
Because all you need to make a circle is
some string,
something to draw with. What that is will depend on the medium. A piece of string and a thing to hold it down in the middle.
Yeah.
But with a line, you need a straight edge. And in order for it to be an effective straight edge, you need to make it straight, which is a bit more involved if you're doing stuff by hand from scratch.
I was thinking of those teachers who can do a circle by the radius of their elbow, like moving like on the blackboard.
That's weird. Those people are weird.
I mean, that sort of works. The main thing that gets in the way there is joints, because it turns out we do not have ball joint sockets that just rotate all the way around.
Yeah, try not to rotate
things.
Make it look
like it, though. Like how did your arm just do that?
Practice.
They always do it so fast too.
Okay, so
it's like a momentum thing, I guess.
Yeah, partially.
Partially also dislocating all of their joints. One must suffer for maths.
So with the
beauty, not of math.
Traveling around, so we're delivering stuff as far as areas are concerned to the various areas of the harbor. That's probably where we start, where it's like, let's just keep you local for now, and then we'll move you out from there.
Yeah.
We're delivering mail into the harbor, the caves, the forest, to the Golden City, even if we can't get very deep into it, the outskirts of the ocean, even if we can't get very far down into it, and the odd wizard hovel. And by odd, I do mean they are very odd as we go around. Yeah. And probably and hovel, yes. If you've seen the inside of a fully tenured professor's office who has been there for a while, it's a maze. Or at least everyone I've ever been in.
I remember the first
there's
professors.
Probably some like little bits and pieces. Like there's probably areas on the viaduct that we deliver things to. And I'm sure not all of the deliveries are like interesting, relevant thing. It's like, oh, here's like mail. Like literally,
some of it.
Just a letter from my grandma.
Oh.
But
and then the grandma is the super secret final boss.
We already have enough super secret final bosses, Chris.
Most of the game's combat is super secret final boss.
God, just the idea that the mafia boss is like, ah, yes, we're going to send these people a message, and then these three are like, oh, the postal service, gotcha.
Got it.
Send a fruits basket.
Like they're dumb enough to not realize that message in this case is a euphemism.
When I said I wanted you to take care of him, I didn't mean send him on a spa holiday.
But they did figure out that there was a threat involved. They just have decided to threaten the mailman.
No, no.
Because they're smart.
But also, this is not the first time they've done this, and the mailman knows exactly what's going on, and that these people aren't actually harmful. They think they are.
Just not.
They're harmful in the action game sense, not in the plot significance sense. You know, they are a fight. Or 3.
A 3-stage fight, even.
Didn't we already do this in Project V in 16 Symbols? I can't remember what we did it with, though.
A 3-stage fight or threatening the mailman?
There's a bunch of characters. It might have been the Goons, where we have, like individual fights, but then as we go through the story, you start fighting them together, and they mechanically start working together in different ways.
I mean,
Or it might have been these 3, and we talked about it so long ago that I've forgotten that it was still this.
yeah, I think it's that one, because with Via, we do fight all of the Goons in the first battle, and it doesn't go well for anyone involved.
Yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't go well for the party, it doesn't go well for the Goons, it doesn't go well for the train. But in Via, we did have oh, by the way, much later, we've decided to introduce a new mechanic of combos. Because we were just trying to figure out how to make the symbols work.
We do what now?
Combos.
Yeah, where you can combine
Combo attacks.
2 characters' skills and you get a combo attack thing.
Oh,
I have no memory of this.
Yeah, the Poison Witch sort of introduced that mechanic when we went, hey, we're new person joins the party. All right, let's add 4 villains.
Part of the fun. Why is it when my brain actually started to remember that, the very first thing I remembered was that Wick was in Bran's pocket?
Aw.
I don't know.
I was like,
Actually,
make sure you get him out the
3
pocket.
villains, because 2 of the 5 were incapacitated. And had to get dragged around by the others.
That's
And
right.
yes, Wick got shoved in a pocket.
Oh yeah,
Because
Gabe.
at the very least, it has the sense of being small.
We need to do 16 Symbols sequel.
Yeah.
But then now with added character count, so we know how many characters we need and we can design them ahead of time. Or not. Or a character count that's broken, so we're tricked.
We're gonna
I think
this anyway.
I think honestly that'd probably be a good idea, sort of, because like it was fun, but there was definitely a few things where it was like, we have to now make up something on the spot. Go. So I think having the, like with what you revealed, decided to do with the revealing if each area is a new area, and the thing where it's like, oh, let's just see where the splits and return to parties or party reconvenes marked. having something similar where maybe we don't see where the characters are introduced, but just knowing how many of the new characters introduced so that we have at least a floor for the number of characters we have to make, even if we decide to be like, oh, here's one thing, we're going to add 50 characters at this point. Because we hate ourselves.
I'm kind of torn between doing something, because like every time we do one of these, we start from scratch. And we just throw away all the characters and stories that we had already.
Mm-hmm.
And I am tempted to do a sequel, or prequel, or just what I usually do with my characters, which is starting a completely new story, but with all the same characters.
Yeah, we could do a remake. We'll Final Fantasy VII it.
Reboot. 16 Symbols Retrograde Remake Part 1.
Yeah. Just add more, like, numbers and, like...
Oh, Kingdom Hearts it.
maths.
I mean, to be fair, like,
Square
there were
root
some
of 7
interesting
over 4.
ideas there. We were just beholden to the symbols and we're just sort of throwing things at anything to see what was going on. So it might be interesting to, like...
Oh no, we would be beholden to the symbols again.
Yeah, but now we have a better idea of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And either way, it'd be an interesting challenge. Let's use the same characters and see if we can do something else with them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sci-fi horror it is.
Sci-fi horror. Yes.
You're missing the western part.
Sci-fi western
Brad
west.
will hate that.
Sci-fi western horror. This could work. Anything else we want to get in there? Noir.
Just everything.
All the genres.
I mean, having a
Except fantasy.
cosmic horror type situation, we already sort of do, given that both Wimp and Grandma Bonk are potentially cosmic horrors.
Yeah, shrimp coming back.
Shrimp is definitely coming back. How could we do 16 symbols without Shrimp?
And he's gone.
Simply can't. They were too important to the story.
Okay.
Just so much build-up.
Idea. 16
many hints.
symbols, but it's Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Shrimp.
Figure that one out. Call of Shrimp.
Don't make me actually sit here and think about this.
Too late? Question mark?
The problem is this is this is on par with the noir story I'm writing for October and Company. I'll just get all these characters, put them in a new world, and just see how it works. I'm hoping soon to start in some sort of proper context, and mainly I'm hoping to start it because it's going to be about like bloody 80 pages long at this rate. And that's going to take time, and the sooner you start, the better. This is why the draw-through format's good, because it's like, you've got to hurry along. It's a stream.
Get stuff done.
You can't spend a couple of weeks on one page. Go, go, go!
And then just sit there and scream into the void as things go wonky.
Sorry, my stomach's making weird noises. I don't know if that picked up on the mic.
No.
Good. I'll move the mic closer.
That's what we want. More stomach noises.
Maybe I like how this drawing is like clearly he thinks he's had an idea, but the brain is the eyes make it obvious that no, there is not a single thought there.
Yes, look at him.
Oh,
He had an idea. He had an idea.
No
That
thought.
doesn't mean he had a thought.
Yes. We leave you. Behave yourselves. Only blow the bloody doors off. We'll only blow the bloody doors off. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. Enjoy.
Bye, miss.
Have a good evening. You support this message. Yeah.
Yeah, zero thoughts. Head empty. But they think they got it, and that's what's important.
Yes, they're having the sensation of finding a solution is not the same as finding a solution. What's this, Christy? What's going on?
It's a folding dagger.
A folding what, sorry?
Dagger.
Oh.
It's icy. It's a pocket knife, but more folds.
A wibbly. It's like one of those rulers.
Yeah, it's like a carpenter's ruler.
Yeah.
Oh, that's called a ruler? We called it an inch stick.
Well, yeah.
Inch stick?
Yeah.
It measures a stick that measures inches.
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Also, because we usually don't measure in inches, we measure in centimeters, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but center stick doesn't have the same sort of
on
ring.
it on one side, though.
It's good to have both. Frame man, what are you doing? I know Miss just left, but that's no excuse. Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah. So my mom had one of those, pretty much exactly like that one, actually. Very useful for. She didn't use it for carpeting. She used it for fiber art stuff, because it's very convenient to just fold it up and then just stick it in your bag with all of your unfinished objects.
I haven't seen one with the circle thingy in the middle.
This is
Yeah,
the
those
sort
are
of
the ones
thing
I
I
know.
remember. It's convenient to have a really long ruler that you can fit in your pocket. You know?
Yeah.
I have an inch stick. An inch is called a tomme in Danish. And stick is stuck. I have my inch stick is called tummy stick.
Tommy stick.
Yeah. My mom called it that.
That is very interesting.
I tried to figure out what we call it here in the Netherlands, and I found no consistency, so, you know, that's great.
Or whatever you want.
Gerald.
Yeah,
Maybe
in
not
the
that.
US, it's just general ruler, unless you're talking about like specific kinds. So that would be carpenter's ruler, and then you've got meter stick or yard stick, but those are specifically a meter and a yard.
I guess we saw that and thought we can do better. We can be more specific, but uselessly so.
And we've also got like tape measures, but those are flexible rulers.
Who hasn't got a tape measure and tried to make it go out as long as possible before it collapses? This I
we
figured
call the measuring band.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tape becomes band, or band becomes tape. We're all measuring. Life's good.
I
Now
hope
I'm
we
just
can
looking
use
at this
new
unfolding
equipment.
pocket knife. It's like, are all of the bits blade? Because you've got like
This is blade.
4 bends there.
At a
That
certain
is-
point, you could
Maybe
just call
this
it a
is blade
sword.
too?
You could just make it unravel even further. Just make it into a full sword. The sword you can fit in your pocket. Oops.
A pocket sword.
I've looked at that.
Who needs
That's
a bag of
reference
folding?
as well.
Who needs a bag of holding when you can just fold up your sword and stick it in your pocket?
Exactly. Don't need a bag of holding, I'm just smart with my equipment.
Glad we found a way to put in these little criminals.
Yeah. There's something about an incompetent gang of goons.
It's just great.
It's just very endearing.
Every story should have one.
And they always have to have a New York accent, don't they?
Wait, is that true of the
I'm
goons
just
in
thinking, don't they
16
always
Simple?
have that in old movies?
I don't know.
Guess it depends on the genre.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, if it's, you know, a British gangster film. You
Yeah.
be from London, right?
And they have to say in it a lot.
In it.
In it.
As opposed to being out of it.
Mhm.
No, so get out of it. Get out of it, innit? In it, out of it.
I love that male lizard is small.
I don't know the size relative.
He's small.
Cartoon
Also-
rules. The size is whatever's funniest at the time.
Yes.
I like them being small because even though they're small, they're clearly like carrying them with the 3 of them.
Yep,
Even
they're all
so-
helping.
I mean, just because something's small doesn't mean it's not heavy.
He's also not
doubt
heavy.
Male lizard is that heavy.
Like, someone
Oh,
and the chemistry department is going to have fun with this. Someone apparently dropped off, like, a little vial that contained mercury in it that
Oh.
was just apparently sitting in the closet of someone's house. It's like, oh, we're cleaning out stuff from Grandpa. Oh, here's, that's a metal. That's mercury. I don't know what to do with this.
Bottle of mercury.
And so it's like, oh yeah, we have this little bottle of mercury. And it's not a very big bottle, but you pick it up and then you go, oh, that's heavy. Because it's mercury.
Oh, right. I always got, depending on how tired I am, I could probably still get fooled by it, but I always got fooled by the, what's heavier, a kilogram
yeah.
of feathers or a kilogram of iron, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I got so freaking mad.
Yeah, because kilogram is a weight measure instead of a volume measure.
Yeah.
The Limmy
It's
sketch.
how much it weighs, not how much space it takes up.
That was yeah. That was weird, that becoming a meme, because I watched that on TV. And then it became a meme, and that's a strange thing to happen. I encounter things first as a meme, not as a show. This is the wrong way around.
What's this from?
I love that video so much because that's exactly how I felt at like age 7. Just the seals heavier than feathers.
Yeah. Oh, baby. Feel bad for them.
Yeah, a kilogram of feathers. That'd be a lot of feathers. It's a lot of pissed off chickens.
You can make it quicker, get like ostrich feathers. It's more
Would you
dangerous.
rather piss off the ostriches then?
No, but you piss off fewer of them, is all I'm saying.
Oh no.
Would you rather piss off 1,000 chickens,
Or 10 ostriches.
which is heavier, a kilogram of pissed off chickens?
Well, my chickens are about 2 kilos each.
Yeah, but not all of that is feathers.
Kiro has rulers.
Ooh.
Hey, Kiro!
Hi, Kiro.
Kiro has what now?
Rulers. Or a ruler.
Oh, I heard Hooters.
No.
I was confused.
That's certainly not something I'd comment upon. How you doing,
Yay.
Kiro? You alright?
We've made a gang of stupid goons.
As
It's
is
Saltod
tradition.
and Axel.
Saltod and Axel are still in the male lizard. Because reasons. To do with this very good drawing.
Because the boss said that they were gonna send a message. And there's threats involved.
That is as far as
Naturally.
Axel thought.
Message.
Message. Got it. Just woke up from the nap. Ooh, nice.
Hope it was a nice nap.
I like how the male lizard is just sort of unenthused by this entire thing.
It's happened before. They've made this mistake before. Still. They're still the same price.
Hasn't changed.
One day these three will understand what sending message means. But not today.
Not today.
So that's clearly how you get involved with the Mafia and the Mafia questline.
Yeah.
Now for all the others. Hmm.
Or at least how you get introduced to the idea that the Mafia are here, and then you can get
Yeah.
deeper in.
Mhm.
Like, so I've been watching a couple of gentlemen play through the Yakuza series off and on, and the Yakuza is known for two things. One, very dramatic Yakuza story. Two, sub-stories involving mini-games of every single genre you can think of. So I
Spinning wheels that
imagine
you've got to stop at the right point.
some of these are sort of like with those sub-stories where it's like it gets introduced, but you don't necessarily have to follow through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the goons are here, you could deal with them, or you could just not deal with the mafia and leave.
Mm-hmm. You could just leave after getting the mail lizard back.
Yeah, you are after going to rescue the male lizard. That is a thing. They will be stolen at least once.
Mm-hmm.
Or kidnapped, I guess is the word.
Stolen. Kidnapped, what's the difference?
Sentience?
You can steal chickens. You don't kidnap chickens.
Yeah, but they do sometimes use kidnap in terms of, like, pets, like dogs.
Hmm. Would we consider male lizard a pet?
No.
Then it's stealing.
But they are a person.
Problem solved.
It's fine.
Yeah, but you see, Kira, abduction and liberation are sort of opposites, because abduction means you're taking them from somewhere that they are meant to be. Liberation means you're taking them from somewhere they're not meant to be. And then adoption is legal paperwork.
I mean, maybe they've adopted the male lizard. I don't know. Seems like a
Liberation
very
is...
weird relationship that's going on there.
Liberation is when you take something from where it's not meant to be and put it where it is meant to be, whereas abduction is where you start with a base case and then you iteratively build upon it.
Boo.
Maths jokes!
Boo. I'm the only one in this call that gets that, and I'm gonna boo you for it.
Yes, please, so we all know what.
Yeah.
We all know to be disappointed. We don't know for what.
Yeah. Ragdoll is
Unnecessarily why.
booing on behalf of others. A proxy boo.
Proxy boo.
It sounds like a username you'd come across on Tumblr.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are usernames you come across on Tumblr, and after a while, you just sort of become desensitized to the types of usernames that are on Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
if it's
pointed out
normal, then it's not a Tumblr username.
Yeah, someone pointing out that the most sort of like egregious, bizarre names are just like, oh yeah, that's clearly a person, and then like John Smith 42. Oh, that's a bot. That's not an actual person.
I got a space for a folding dagger. What should I add to it? Anything that could be used in any way.
A folding fork.
Just add a little keychain to it.
Yeah, a keychain with lots of little bits and bobs. Isn't
Adding
abduction...
a fork to a knife is kind of harder.
What?
Adding a fork to a dagger is harder than adding a keychain, so it's gonna be keychain.
Keychain.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind what was to Chris. I heard Dutch and then just nothing.
No, I was abduction doesn't just mean to abduct a person or whatever, but it is also a method of logical reasoning, and I think it's actually the thing that Sherlock Holmes does. Sherlock Holmes doesn't do deduction. I think he does abduction quite a lot of the time.
Why did they change the word?
I don't know. But it's difficult to look it up because almost all abduction, if you try and look up abduction, it's basically his maths. Like, no. want the more general logical abduction.
Via.
Ah, here we are. It starts. Abduction starts with an observational set of observations and then seeks the simplest and most likely conclusion from the observation. That is abduction, as opposed to deduction, which does something else.
Yeah, so it's a formal reasoning process. There's like 5 I'm aware of, some more used than others. You've got deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is not quite the same as what you think of as far as like just regular talking is concerned, like regular speech is concerned, but you're probably at least heard of it. Abductive reasoning, analog reasoning, and
digital.
We usually called it like it's like reason via fallacy or something like that. Basically, you're proving something's true by starting by proving that it can't be false or something like that.
Proof by contradiction.
Yeah.
There was like, I seem to recall there was like a movement in maths. Started in the Netherlands apparently. Trying to basically rebuild mathematics without proof by contradiction. Because it wasn't seen as like a very truthful method of proof. Because you're not proving something's true, you're just proving it can't be false. And so you don't actually learn anything about the thing itself, you just know it has to be. So they just tried to start making maths without any proof by contradiction. This is not interesting to anyone but me or Ragdoll, and honestly the second one is probably tentative. So anyway, blame Kiro.
I mean, to be fair, Kiro, I'm sure you weren't aware of that definition of abduction.
Yeah. You can bring in the maths by saying any innocuous word.
Via. Back to Via.
Back to Via. Are we going to explore the Mafia quest a little bit more, or are we just going to leave it as sort of surface start? This is how we get in. Shenanigans ensue thereafter.
I mean, do we really like character-wise? Do we have any other characters from the Mafia that have been designed?
Well, one thing I would say is we haven't really interacted with much of the harbour itself outside of the Mafia, and presumably
True.
the Mafia is going to interact with those, right? You know, this is Christie's area.
I've just been thinking whatever 20 whatever weeks ago. There was shady stuff happening, especially under the guise of like high society.
Oh, high society. There we go. We haven't touched that. There's ideas. Immediately, my brain's thinking of Dishonored.
And I'm sure the Mafia's got their fingers in that as well, because we do have some very well-dressed lizards.
They don't have to be lizards.
With I don't know when we were talking about some storefronts having like curiosity cabinets and stuff, and people having shady stolen goods. High society having those, normal people don't. And something with that, I forget.
Yeah, I remember the curiosity shops coming up. And we also had like one curiosity shop that wasn't actually a curiosity shop. It was a mimic sanctuary, just to make things crazier.
Yes. Looks like a curiosity shop, but everything's alive.
Because that's what you want that's what you want in your RPG. A place full of items that everything in there will bite you.
It's very Harry Potter.
Monster Book of Monsters, except everything in here is a monster.
I'm sorry, I ignored the keychain because I got an idea.
To do anything, one sec.
My video's out of date now. I pointed out in my video that the drawing I did of Saltod and Axel and Zed, Ed, and Eddie is half of the drawings that have been made of those characters. And that's not true anymore.
It was when the video came out.
It was. That was true for one day.
And that's what matters.
Or I guess like 3 or 4 days, because I recorded voiceover a while ago. 3 or 4 days ago, to be precise. Hang on, what? 3 or 4 days, to be precise. What? That's not... That's not precise.
Anyway, sorry, what are we? What's the plan? what are we doing?
We're trying to figure out if we want to figure out more of the Mafia quests, or if we want to just leave it as here's the starting point with it, and then move on to figure out what the starting point is for some other quest lines.
Yeah. Do we want to explore
Because
Mafia
we
stuff?
kind of have this thing where there isn't really any particular quest line that you follow through all in one go. It's sort of go to an area, meet some things later on, maybe do some more with it.
I mean, we can work on just the harbor area today. Do it area by area. Kind of thing.
Okay, so with the harbor, as far as like grouping areas are concerned, we've got the docks with people like Soot. We've got some sort of merchant type area, which probably is somewhere around there where you have the curiosity shops and potentially the mimic sanctuary. We have a high society type thing, because that's just sort of what happens. And we have mafia slithering all around, in some cases literally slithering.
It really is Harry Potter.
Slithering with a G.
Aww.
Let's see. Who characters do we have? Okay.
I thought... Hold on, I need to clarify something in my head. Because you mentioned the curiosities as a different faction. I'll call them real quick. I thought those were... Like, the Cabinet of Curiosities was linked to the higher class, because that's a higher class thing. Like, collecting all these
True.
stuff and displaying them. I don't know, maybe I got that wrong.
But that may be how like the upper society exchange illicit goods under cover of curiosities.
They're money laundering.
I mean, yeah. They're all the British Museum.
And the worst archaeologist.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's how we can get that character involved.
Yeah, there we go. That's how we can sort of figure out the thing that we have to do that really messes up our day in the long run. Curiosity shops, high society, worst archaeologist.
Yeah. Okay.
Starting to connect areas together.
So in the harbor we kind of got like 3 factions of like high society with their curiosity, cabinet scheme, money laundering thing, the mafia with probably their own money laundering thing, and like fuel laundering and whatever. And then the
They
dock
misinterpreted it. They're literally washing money.
workers.
Totally.
That's just these 3. That's why they're not on duty. That's why they got a different quest. And then what do the dock workers want? Or is that just, you know, your general like
Citizen?
citizens, you know, whatever. They're just there for flavor, kind of. I don't know.
I mean, they
I
could
mean,
be more like not a single entity trying to like do anything, but it's more just trying to exist. Because we've got a couple of designs of just like random regular citizens. So we've got Why Not, who just is there to be Why Not.
Yeah.
We have Soot, who works down by the docks and is sort of an informant because you got to do what you got to do. And Chibi, at some point, you had designed a sailor character of some sort.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with the cannonballs.
Yeah. For quests that I randomly generated. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we've got a lot of other, mostly lizards, to be honest. Although we do have this one chameleon, or maybe 2 chameleons. It's either 2 very similar chameleons, or this chameleon has decided that they are all of the genders.
Yes. The latter one. Yeah. That was way in the beginning, and I think Dark came up with like comedian spy kind of.
You never know quite how many chameleons you're dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they are all genders.
Like a vibe I've been having in my head, I just remembered. Not that I want to cut in. Am I cutting in?
No, go ahead.
No. We are now cutting in to tell you you're not cutting in.
Brilliant. Like imagine this Victorian fancy lady that like has been privileged all her life and suddenly realizes that like some family member she adored has this cabinet of curiosity thing, and she feels it's not right that they have those important artifacts, so she smuggles them out like under the guise of darkness and down in the harbor, like this dainty out of place looking figure, looking all nervous and looking back, and you know all of these things. That's kind of like a vibe, if that is a vibe, but like the intricacies of society with all of these individuals. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking with the dog workers as well, that like some knows some shady things, some doesn't care, some does. Not that it's possible to show all of that, but
No, we were going to show all of it. Project V is a 5-year project. I didn't mention this, did I?
yeah, probably.
Cool. So we need a out of place, high society, somewhat naive character. Maybe that's how we start. You know, that's our entrance into this story. Is we see them and you're like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah, we see them running around being nervous and like they shouldn't be there.
And if we've got multiple ways that we can help and or hinder and or shut down what's going on here, it could be a thing where it's like, well, you could go just do as you're told, or you can notice that, hey, we've got this nervous person here, hey, let's go talk to them.
Yeah.
I haven't tried to draw these characters from the front. This is an issue.
I don't imagine their faces make it like lend itself well to that.
I don't often try to draw lizards from or any of those from the front. You shouldn't want to.
Well, you could have told me that before I started drawing this. Grumble, grumble.
Is this a 2D segment?
Not at the moment. It just suddenly turns into a 2D platformer for this one fight.
Like in Mario Odyssey, which is both a 3D game and a 2D game simultaneously.
Simultaneously.
Or I'm actually, if you've ever seen the pictures with raptors, where it's like, raptor from the side, majestic, and then raptor from the front, and it just looks concerned and silly.
Get you a lizard who can do both.
But actually, bringing up with the potential high society character, in order for the character to figure out, hey, maybe we should just stop all of this nonsense, there really needs to be characters that they do that through. So there probably should be at least one character in each area that makes it clear or gives us the option of not going through and doing whatever it is Fame and Fortune are setting up here.
So,
well, yeah. What? That's a good question. What is Fame and Fortune's deal in this? That's pretty important to, the plot of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got their whole deal with the archaeologist in some sense.
Yeah.
That might connect.
I think that's like their vested interest with the high society. Like they want to get the high society interested in this kind of stuff. so they'll invest in like archaeological expeditions and, you know, ruin everything. You know? Like I think that's their long-term goal in that, with them.
Short term, they could just sell a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, short term, it's just, you know, we got all these people out here who are trying to collect stuff. And also, I mean, like, not just selling them, but like, I imagine, like, in Fame and Fortune's mind, these people are all keeping their stuff safe. You know? Like,
Yeah.
things they don't want to sell, but, you know, like, they're just treating these guys as, like, you know, like, a, like, vault, essentially. Or, like, you know, a museum.
Little did they know they were the museum all along.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Do we know how this connects to life and death and that whole situation?
mm,
Does it?
I mean, beyond the general put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
I mean, there could be some high society person who's in their position because of being like immortal or something.
yeah, that could be a thing of, like, rich, wealthy, stupid aristocracy are gonna be interested in, you know, eternal life.
Yeah, classic.
You know, the whole, like, fountain of youth, like, obsession, kind of.
Maybe that's why they got into antiques as well, because they're looking for that thing to make them immortal.
Yeah.
Or rid them of some curse they put on themselves by doing it in the first place.
I think that's also like a like interest, like Fame and Fortune's interest with them, because like you have these people who are obsessed with the idea of eternal life. You're gonna sell them the idea of eternal life, especially when you want that too, because it will fuck everything up.
That doesn't sound like Fame and Fortune at all.
I know.
Fame and Fortune would try to sell you your own grandmother.
Yeah, exactly.
They have several times.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like they have a lot of interest in this like the aristocracy.
Also, I have a feeling whatever's being peddled isn't actually going to give anyone actual immortality.
Oh, no.
Because, especially fame and fortune have their way, and all of time breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess they are sort of, kind of peddling immortality. It's just sort of not really theirs
You
to
live
peddle.
forever,
It's just
but time will only last for a couple of seconds. Goodbye.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
you will live forever, but forever has been severely shortened.
Yeah. And then the interest of fame and fortune in the mafia is, the whole fuel situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, of course they're gonna want that. That's, life and death stuff.
That is the physical fuel for the machines, but also the metaphysical fuel for Fame and Fortune's plans.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make those small illustrations so good?
Christy, I've told you to stop talking to yourself.
Aw.
Animate that moustache. That is a good I don't want to animate mouths moustache.
Yeah. You only need to make the moustache like vibrate, kind of.
That's good.
There's no voice acting in this game apart from that.
It can hardly be called voice acting.
I mean, the snail from SpongeBob SquarePants has a voice actor.
Oh,
and he just sort of meows. I don't think he voices any other characters, though. Because, yeah, sometimes with those, if it's just like incidental voices, they just say, hey, Steve, once you're done with your main voice lines, can you just shout some random soldiers?
Yeah. And in some games, they just did that for the whole cast.
Yeah. Sometimes
Like
in-house voice acting means that the studio just has voice actors that they hire on and use over and over and over again, and sometimes in-house voice acting means that after you finish programming for the day, you walk into the sound booth and make some weird noises.
Yes.
That does sound like fun, though. If I just copy-paste the middle of this dagger a bunch of times, I can make it an infinity dagger.
There you go. See? Work smart, not hard.
Do it.
One of the pros of working in digital is that you can just sort of copy-paste very easily.
Copy-paste is great.
What I did before digital art, I've always done is use baking paper and what's it called? Squishy scratchy. A technical term.
Scratch. And that's how I transfer a very low-tech way of transferring my digital art onto Lino Cut. As I just trace over my tablet on a piece of baking paper and flip it, scrub over the back.
It works surprisingly well. Using a pastel in a sepia tone, I've seen a hack for. I haven't tried it yet because I don't have a pastel, but that should leave it less muddy and transfer easier.
I still haven't actually done a proper print of my own Steam one yet. When did I do that? When did I do the first tests of that?
Last October with the inscription.
That was when I did the first. That was when I did the cards. But I did an Ornstein one. And I can't remember when I did the first test of those. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll do a better. Now I know what colors I want and how to mix those colors. I'll do a proper one. And then like 6 months later, here I am.
It's a lot of stuff to set up.
It's kind of apparently August. It's not that long ago. Well, July kind of. End of July, early August. So, been a few months. Once I'm sick of drawing characters in different styles, I'm sure I'll go back to do something else like music and that. So anyway, we also have this this nice out of place aristocratic lady who is not sure of where they are or what they're supposed to be doing there.
Absolutely not. Like, she put on her, like, least fanciest dress to fit in with the peasants, and it's still just way too over the top.
The first person they meet is Soot.
Exactly. You absolutely meet her talking to Soot, and it's just, like... just to hammer down home, like, she doesn't belong here.
Sticking out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm. She thinks she's fitting in great, though. She absolutely thinks she's doing it.
And that's what matters.
Exactly.
Except when it doesn't. Like now.
Except for, like, immediately after you met her when she wasn't discovered.
Yeah. Did actually have a really terrible idea.
Ooh.
Which was, I said, hey, maybe next time we do like a kind of 16 symbols sort of thing, we can use the same characters. And maybe we can have a bit more idea of how many characters arrive when and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My brain had the opposite idea. Which is, we could use the characters from this as well. Otherwise, they're going to go to waste. So we could sort of have those in there, but we can't fit them to all, 16 symbols and Project of the Year all into one thing. That's a lot of characters. So I thought, okay, how about when a new character symbol arrives, we randomly generate what character joins the story.
Oh, that would be fun, though.
We won't even know who our main character is until we start.
I
Who's the main
hope we get
character?
Saltod and Axel versus the Goons.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely come together, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some that come in a group.
Our main party consists of the Goons, Saltod and Axel. And Schrodinger's cat.
Not Schrodinger. Never Schrodinger.
Not Schrodinger. Schrodinger's cat.
Just carrying around a box.
Yeah, we could put in a bunch of ones from the Forest of Doom, Citadel of Chaos. Honestly, it's a terrible idea, but I think we should do it.
Yes. Absolutely. Even if just for one stream, just to see how terrible it goes.
It'll just be like one of those crossover games where it's just like everyone's here, and for some reason, instead of just making it a fighting game, we've decided that there's a story mode.
Yeah. We looked at all the crossover fighting games. So that's a fantastic idea. Let's make an RPG.
Yeah.
I mean,
Isn't that just Kingdom Hearts?
Project X Zone exists.
Yes.
What's
Project what? X Zone?
Hold on, let me find a picture.
Project X Zone. It's got project in the name, so we know it's. I've just seen. I was just like, oh hey, there's a bunch of anime cat. Is that Sonic? Yeah, that's anime, Sonic Mega Man.
And Dante, featuring
Yep,
Dante
yep.
from Devil May Cry.
Featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
So basically, Project X Zone is a pair of, or at least there's only two that I'm aware of, tactical RPG type games. So like with your XCOM, where you move characters around the board, that has it's got a whole bunch of Capcom and Namco characters in it. And some of them we have an excuse of, oh, they've fallen through a portal, but some of them it's just a time portal, which means you've got things where it's like, oh, here apparently Dante is existing in the same universe as Ace Attorney.
Naturally.
Okay, so the Sonic one was a joke. Just want to point that out. Sonic is not in this game.
Aww.
Which is disappointing. Mega Man is, though. And that is quite
Yes,
silly.
Mega Man is.
I was going to say, hang on, Sonic isn't Capcom or whatever the other one is. Namco.
But yeah, so it's just got everyone in it.
Oh, we've got Tales of Vesperia, Tekken, Xenosaga, Dot Hack, God Eater, Resident Evil. Got the two main characters from Resident Evil are in there.
Wonderful.
Somebody from Ghosts and Goblins. Space Channel 5? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there she is. That's what I want to see. I want a Resident Evil game with the main character from Space Channel 5 in it. Just doing bubblegum pop disco dancing in front of zombies. Anyway, right, so I've got a bunch of threads.
Those were in the 3DS, I think. Yeah, Nintendo 3DS, and then Project X Zone 2 also 3DS.
Speaking of the 3DS, I started a playthrough of the Pokemon game on my 3DS because I finished the Ghost one, and now I'm doing a Bug one. And I thought, brilliant, I can do a Bug one in Pokemon Black and White. And that'll be nice, because you always get bugs early. Gotta do 2 bloody gyms before I get a bug.
Really? I thought...
I know!
Huh.
You keep getting the rug pulled out from under you with these things.
I know! Bloody...
2 gyms?
I know! I can get all sorts of Pokemon before then, but no bugs. There's a forest full of bugs, but I have to beat the second gym to get in there.
Huh. Interesting.
None of the long grass. I can get an electric horse. I can get rock Pokemon in caves. I've just picked up a couple of fighting Pokemon to deal with the normal gym, and it's like... so many things and not one bug.
Really just... But it... What? That doesn't make any sense.
I know! I picked bug because I thought it would be an immediate access thing.
Yeah, Huh.
Well, most of the time it is. Except in your case. Doing a Project X Zone type thing with all of the characters that have been made up in our various projects would just be a mess.
Yeah. Beth can do something good. Oh, you're back and doing a couple of errands like laundry. Didn't trust your knees enough to carry around your phone or iPad while doing stuff. Good. Don't do too much.
Anyway, we should probably talk more about Project Vita. Because we went on a tangent again.
What? Tangent? Us? Never.
Never. I know, right? It's so weird.
I love your Victorian baby, Chip.
She is very nervous.
Here's what you missed, Kiro. Some good doodles of moustaches and worry ladies and daggers that just keep going, which is a bit like the knives in Dead Island, but not quite.
Also, you missed me introducing them to the concept of Project X Zone.
Yes. As I was reading through the titles, I was like, Kiro probably recognizes these. And that was born of the idea that the next project we should do should involve all of the characters that we have so far, randomly generated at different points in the story.
Yeah. Sal, Claude, and Axel versus the Goons. We're gonna get it. Who is stupider?
I would say Sal, Todd, and Axel because the Goons have at least 2 intelligent people in the group. It's just that a lot of the time they don't do anything to stop the unintelligent people in the group.
Yeah, I wouldn't say any of Sal, Todd, and Axel are particularly smart.
Did we ever establish which one was Sal, Todd, and Axel, or is it just whichever one? Is it like a with the 2 characters in Hamlet where it's like they're always introduced together, so you never really know which one's which?
Yeah. All we know that they introduce themselves as, "Hey, we're Sal, Todd, and Axel," and no, it's not that way around.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
Not the way you think it is. But there's still a couple other ways it could be. But
yeah, there are 2 possibilities. Well, I guess, yeah, none of them match up with the thing you would expect. So that does leave 2 possibilities.
Yeah. But they think it's obvious, so they're not gonna tell you. They share one brain cell, that's my belief. I think you're right.
That's optimistic, frankly.
It might share less than one brain cell, but, you know. There's a maximum, and a maximum is 1.
They've managed to find the quarks of brain cells.
The sub-brain cell. The brain mitochondria. You've played Final Fantasy IX several times, you still don't know which one's Zorn and which one's Thorn. Me neither, to be honest. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing.
I don't know either, because they're not really separate characters.
No.
Like, even the spoiler other group of, like, evil henchmen that come in groups have more distinguishing features and characteristics than Zorn and Thorn have with each other.
They're always together. And they're always saying the same thing. I think Zorn is the one that speaks first. That's as close as I've got. Zorn might be the one who speaks grammatically correct. But I might be wrong about that.
It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. This will all become apparent when the draw-through starts.
And it's not even like with the Timmy and Tommy situation where it's the exact same model, so of course you're not going to be able to tell the two of them apart. Zorn and Thorn
Yeah, one of them's red, one of them's blue.
have
This should be
distinguishing
easy.
characteristics, technically. But they're not distinguishable characters.
Yeah.
Not the same thing.
One of them's red, one of them's blue. They do speak differently, technically, even though they finish each other's sentences, and sometimes say each other's sentences simultaneously, but in different orders. Whatever, we'll get to them.
You even see them talking to each other.
They
and
do,
they're
yes.
still not distinguishable characters.
In fact, the first time you see them, they are talking to each other. I remember when you're introduced to them, which is pretty early on. So again, this is not really spoilers. We meet a lot of characters very quickly in that game, and that's going to be a time.
I love this little comic you're making. I know it's supposed to be like, you know, what's the word for it? Like different scenes, but it just reads like a comic.
The shenanigans of these lizards would make a great comic.
I mean, we've already seen them as Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Also, I see that you're sketching in like the main character like carrying male lizard, and I'm thinking like there's romance options, and your options are male lizards. That's it.
There should be
Only
romance options.
romanceable NPC.
Thank you for that, Chibi. Ugh, you dirty. Ugh. I don't know what my dog did, but ugh, he was just outside and now it's roasted pet him.
I like how the relative size between all of these characters is different with each panel.
Look, it's hard.
One of the characters is 10 pixels, so, you know.
Listen, the only thing that's important is that, you know, there's a big one, there's a middle one, and there's a small one.
Yeah. Again, there aren't any rules. We're not going
Yes,
to
relative
specifics
sizes between them is going to vary depending on what's funniest at the time.
Yeah. These are affine characters. They're defined relative to one another, and that is all.
I'm gonna switch to Procreate and make the Infinity Dagger closer to infinity. Yes.
I see Kira was voting for us to
Yes.
have a romance option in here.
Vote
Which, to be
smooch.
fair, is a thing you can do in games like Skyrim and whatnot.
Mhm.
So we can. There is precedence for romancing characters.
As if I don't have enough things on my plate. I've just now imagined a exclamation mark vote smooch command, which is Pal popping up and kissing the screen and then popping back down.
Aw, that'd be so cute.
So, am I really going to animate that?
I don't
October's
know, are you?
busy.
I mean, you could probably do it with just 2 frames, just him popping up, them popping up, smooch, and then gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know me. Pre-Ed's animation was supposed to be 8 frames and ended up 16.
Yeah, we do know you. I know, Kira, there is gonna be romance. It's just
there is
mailless.
now. I mean, I mainly did this as the joke of like mailless and say you can put me down now, but I'm fine with. I mean, I guess they're technically your boss, so there's some questionable HR things going on here.
Yeah, but you get fired later on for drinking fuel, so...
Yeah.
We get fired?
Also, it's not like it stopped any other RPG for having potentially questionable romance
yeah,
options.
like if the most questionable thing about our romance options is worker and boss, then we're doing all right.
You can romance your teacher in Persona 5, so that's one of the bars that we are dealing with here.
Yeah, we can romance him when we quit or get fired. Or
dialogue options before that will help, but
or there is a side quest where you schedule a meeting with HR.
And
who is also male.
I guess technically in both Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Inquisition, everyone that you date is one of your subordinates. So you are the boss dating your underlings.
I love the idea of a side quest where you have a meeting with HR, but Male Lizard is also HR and the boss and the co-worker and...
They have a different hat for each job.
Yeah. So they just keep running around the table switching hats. Just like, oh, yes. I see. Well, there's gotta be paperwork involved.
When they put their co-worker hat on, they're like, oh, for God's sake, who set up this whole system? And then they put the boss hat on, it's like, hey!
I love that Zelda and Axel look like they could be beaten up, but it could also be that they just love lying like that. Just...
This is their rest and recuperation position. Tried and tested.
It's that thing that some animals do where they're rolling over, showing their belly, playing dead.
Yeah. They tried doing it, like, stacked differently, but it didn't really work out that way.
The little one still has back problem.
Yeah.
Some trails. Hey, Kira, I guess to vent. We've got the platinum trophies for Cold Steel 1 to 3, and you refuse to get the 1 for 4 that requires you to do some very questionable romance options and see a few scenes in the game, and you will never. Congratulations on having standard.
Yay.
Something like that in the second one too, and you wish you could go back and delete that scene completely. You were not expecting it. Yeah, if you're not expecting it, you can't consider yourself guilty. You know, it's like.
Yeah, and everyone's got like different levels of, like different levels of what they can handle with that sort of thing. So, like, to me personally, like, I don't care, but with Persona 3 especially, it just feels sort of like. I know the entire context of the character arc with that route, so it makes more sense, but if all you have is sort of a surface understanding of the game, it's like, hey, there's a plot line where we're going on about, hey, it's sort of weird that we've got this teacher who's creeping on the students, and that's a bad thing, and then later on you can creep on the teacher, and that's apparently a good thing, and it's like, now wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. How about we don't creep?
Don't
creep.
Now, like I said, eventually things get ironed out, and it turns out, hey, there's more complexity going on here. But it's like still one of those things of like, maybe we should have thought that through, because on the surface level, it just seems like you're contradicting yourself. Anyway, not the point.
Anyway, let's get back to the important matters. Dating options.
Well, the male lizard is definitely an option.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of the wizards are an option because I'm sure most of them are not even aware that romance exists, except for the ones that have decided to try and study it.
There is
Really?
Sexy Wizard.
Look, there's a difference between understanding sexy and understanding romance.
Yeah, true. How about Sexy Wizard's bat helper?
Yes. That one you can romance. You cannot romance Sexy Wizard. He doesn't understand, but you can romance the bat.
So you can probably romance at least one of the pirates with the floating city stuff. Which one? I don't know. Whichever one we decide is the coolest.
Yeah. I'm just going through character art now and trying to find the most questionable characters.
The mistake?
The most questionable characters that aren't directly, you know, super bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, the mistake was just like literally only here for a boss fight, so.
Yeah.
But in that same vein, we do have Jonathan.
We do have Jonathan.
Do you have Jonathan?
Oh, that'd be really funny though.
The Leaf Smith and the Moss Weaver feels less like you date either of them and more like you're trying to repair their relationship.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, made a mistake.
Oh, I'm now looking at in the forest Chibi's 4 little plant people
Mm-hmm.
who are
Oh, yeah.
adorable, by the way, except for the stern-looking one. But the other 3, very small and cute.
Mm-hmm.
They're neat.
Yeah.
Data tree.
Data tree.
A date tree.
You mean any of the plant people? No, a tree.
No, you could only date the stump.
Date the stump.
The one that's several hundred times the size of you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of an age difference. They're a couple of 100 years old.
Yeah.
And a tree.
Yeah, might complicate things, you know.
The age part is the most important one, though.
Limbo, I don't imagine anyone down there is interested in romance.
No.
No, but there is a quest to gather a lot of blood bees into a bouquet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like your when you get have like an item in a game that's like, you know, a wedding ring equivalent. You know, like there's romanceable options and you gotta give them a thing, and you can't give them a thing until they get the BK.
I imagine that after, because I imagine the first time you meet Mr. Tubbs it's a fight, but I imagine that after that Mr. Tubbs will accept any offerings, but that doesn't mean he'll do anything about it.
Yes. It is RNG as to whether anything actually happened.
Yeah.
With the ocean, we've got the Diver and Georgie who are doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to get mixed up in that.
No, they are
You are very much the third wheel there.
Yeah.
But maybe Georgie knows someone nice.
Maybe Georgie knows someone.
Hey.
Put in a good word.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Georgia.
Not a romanceable option, but if you do try, they will like say that of like, I mean, we're not interested, but Georgie has a friend. And then the friend is like, you know, an actual shark.
Yeah, not an anthropomorphic one.
No, just the shark.
Just shark. But they do like you.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 hours. Shall I spin wheels?
Sure.
I'm not sure if anyone's paying attention to the wheels anymore.
It's just one of the things of we might as well. Maybe something will come of it. Probably not, but maybe.
It's tradition.
I get inspired 1 in 10 times.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's a 10% chance.
Gotta keep them spinning for that 1 in 10.
Sorry, I'm a child. Here be the wheels. You're paying attention, your mind's just empty. I'm paying attention and I just don't.
Yep.
I mean, bold of you to assume that any of our minds have anything useful in them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only idea I had for the last one, which I think was items, and I got the world. If I remember vaguely correctly. Was it items?
Mm-hmm.
Bad. I know it was law, and I had the floating city. Well, that's that out of the window. Was it the previous one? The previous one was items in the world. I was thinking of, like, these deliveries. Maybe there's something that's, like, consistent to be delivered throughout. But that's literally as far as I got. So, certainly didn't come up with any law for the floating city. I forgot that was the prompt. Anyway, spin. Boom. Enemies.
Ooh.
Which is the ideal thing to be thinking about when we're deep in the story.
Yes, exactly.
Enemies to lovers? Specifically, Dark has the Viaduct. Christy, you have caves. Ragdoll gets floating city, which is, we were talking about things that could be there for romance. Clamps Harbor, Lewis Wizard, Kiro has the... No, it is the Abyss. Sorry, I got the Abyss and Limbo mixed up. The sea. Oops, Golden City. Everybody gets the forest. I have the easy task of Limbo, because there's nothing there. And Chib has the world.
Ooh.
You get to come up with the series' iconic monster.
Mm-hmm.
The blue slime. Or the Tonberry.
Yeah. Gonna make a little guy that you have to fight. You really don't want to, but you have to.
Yeah, with a little
They're gonna
gimmick that
keep
makes...
popping up.
There are several versions, some of which are way more difficult than they have any right to be.
Mm-hmm.
Some of which have so much defense you hit them and it only does 1 damage.
Yeah. It's the metal slimes. Or like the Tomberries, you hit them and then they attack you with the souls of every enemy you've killed thus far.
Well,
I
that's
love
what they do.
Oh, yeah. Depending on the game, the move is either called
There
Karma
was-
or Everyone's Grudge.
Someone posted a Twitch clip of someone playing through FF9, I think. And they're wandering around, and it shows them, they're just talking with chat, and then the battle theme starts, and then they look, and it's just like, oh no, oh no, oh no, because there's like 3 Tonberries.
Tomberries are scary. That's why I like them. They're legitimately one of the few enemies in these games that I'm just like, I'm not fighting you. You are going to kill me.
She wasn't either. She put, fortunately, Zidane was out, so it's like everyone go on defense, Zidane flee. Just run.
The exception to that is Final Fantasy VIII. Because in Final Fantasy VIII, if you kill 20 Tomberries, you then get to fight the Tonberry King. Don Tonberry? I can't remember the name of it. And when you do that, you get a pet Tonberry. You get your own one, and then they can doink enemies for you. That's the other thing they do. They walk very, very slowly towards you, and if they reach you, they poke you with their knife, and then you instantly die.
Is a pet Tonberry a Pomberry? And it's a pom dog?
If you, I'm not going to stop you if you want to draw a Pomeranian in a Tonberry cloak. I'm kind of glad actually, because I seem to recall the first game they appeared in was 5. And for some reason in that game they weren't called Tonberry, they were called Dingleberry.
Oh,
No.
So I'm glad they changed that.
No, you didn't know what the word meant.
Yeah, Tonberry's better.
I mean, to be fair, there's multiple enemy types that have different names from the early games compared to later on. Like, horses aren't really a thing in Final Fantasy, but there's a unicorn enemy in one of the earlier games.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense with chocobos.
There's...
I mean, if your world, the only thing that was equivalent to horses were unicorns that would stab you in the face,
Yeah.
I'd rather go with the chickens.
Yeah. They go walk.
Like, what's more deadly, a horse with a spear on its forehead or a giant chicken? Probably the giant chicken.
Giant friendly chicken. But yeah, I think in Final Fantasy 1, I think they were like angry stallion or something as an enemy. Let's check this. Crazy horse. It is a unicorn, you're correct. Also known as Mad Pony, all caps.
Mad Pony.
No space. Madpony.
Mad
The name of a DJ. EDM artist.
Apparently, you can get Tonberries as ally units in Final Fantasy XII Reverent Wings.
Nice. That makes up... Oh, wait, hang on. Are they Tomberries? Because I remember watching Dark play a bit of Final Fantasy XII. And...
No.
There's
12 Reverent Wings.
Okay, right. I don't know what that is.
One of those spin-offs type things.
Yeah. Never really there's no real rhyme or reason to spin-offs in the Final Fantasy franchise. Then again, there's no rhyme or reason to anything in the Final Fantasy franchise.
Which is why it's how I have Vina in mind.
Yes, which is why
And everything.
which is why my concept of fantasy games is the way it is. But yeah, we've got some fun stuff going on. Is that
Yeah.
we're gonna call it there? Unless there's anything else we wanna
Good, we're calling it there.
Yeah, call it in there. Cool.
Yeah,
We've got goons. The story has goons.
the story has goons. It's been improved dramatically.
Yeah. Next time, come back to see what moral goon hijinks. I'm sure they can crop up as we go around. Yeah. There's a bunch of other things to explore, but we're getting there. We're fleshing this out, and then some point by the end of the year, probably, we'll be able to go, and that's that.
Yep.
Claps hands, sorted. And then I can put all the characters into a big random generator, and we can do 16 vias.
And then it's time for remakes.
We have to hurry up.
Oh no, there's a Final Fantasy 9 draw through in between. It's fine. That'll take a while. But yeah, I was kind of considering doing the Final Fantasy 9 draw through like in Agio, and then you can just join and doodle along. I quite like doing the group streams, you know.
Yeah. Never having played Final Fantasy 9 would be funny to like predict what would happen.
That's the point of those draw throughs. It's more fun for the people who don't know what's going to happen.
I never
Yeah,
know
and then we
what's
can
going
have
on.
Chibi and Miss just off to the side going, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck.
But like
And getting way too
Agio-
attached to characters that don't matter and won't really appear.
Oh, absolutely. It's always gonna happen, Chris. I don't know what you expect.
I expect that at this point. Yeah, I think that was the main issue with the Bioshock Infinite draw through. There were no characters for Chibi to get attached to. That was the major flaw.
Yeah, because most of the time you're sneaking around and killing people.
Yeah, and everyone's just kind of generally unpleasant.
That too.
Although, well, that doesn't necessarily stop Chibi getting attached to somebody.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah. I mean, pleasant. Kieran Jindosh. Pleasant.
Yeah. Yes. True. Yeah. Good point. That was
Yeah,
like
but
the
at least
first.
he was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that cute little Tombury. Oh. There's a cute little Tombury in Discord. Anyhow. Thank you for coming. Thank you to Chibi, Ragdoll, and Christy for doodling along and having good times.
Yay.
Thank you to Kiro and Miss for chatting in chat. Thank you to lurkers. I can see you because your names pop up in my bot. Thank you for being here. It's nice. Thank you to Adrian von Ziegler for providing music. Explicitly, he made it just for these streams. It's great. And last but not least, thank you very much to Christy's dog.
Very important part of all these streams.
For cheerleading us.
Couldn't have done it without him.
Or yelling at us to stop.
Yay! Have a wonderful time, everybody. Thank you for being here. Have a great week.
Yeah.
This is a new week ahead of us. Goodbye, everybody.
He entered the room.
Bye.